Title: The Midnight Drive. The engine hummed in the darkness, a monotonous drone that matched the rhythm of my thoughts as I drove down the desolate highway. The only companions were the occasional flickering streetlights, casting eerie shadows that danced along the edges of the road. My knuckles gripped the steering wheel tightly, the only tangible connection to reality in this bleak expanse of night. It was a journey I had made countless times before, but tonight felt different. Tonight, the air hung heavy with an unspoken tension, as if the very atmosphere was pregnant with foreboding. I glanced at the clock, the numbers glowing ominously in the dim light of the dashboard. 2:37 a.m. What madness had possessed me to embark on this drive at such an hour? The radio crackled to life, a burst of static followed by a voice, distorted and faint. My heart skipped a beat as I strained to make out the words. Warning, turn back, danger ahead. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving behind an unsettling silence that seemed to seep into the car like a creeping fog. Ignoring the unease gnawing at the edges of my mind, I pressed on, my foot heavy on the accelerator. The road stretched out endlessly before me, a ribbon of asphalt disappearing into the darkness. My eyes flickered to the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something lurking in the shadows behind me, but there was only emptiness. Minutes turned into hours as I drove deeper into the night, the landscape blurring into a surreal tableau of twisted trees and looming silhouettes. Fear coiled in the pit of my stomach, a primal instinct warning me of unseen dangers lurking just beyond the reach of my headlights. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distance, a solitary hitchhiker standing by the side of the road. My first instinct was to keep driving, to leave the stranger to the mercy of the night, but something compelled me to stop. Perhaps it was the loneliness of the road, or the desperate need for human contact in this desolate wilderness. I rolled down the window, the cold night air rushing in to greet me like an icy embrace. The hitchhiker approached slowly, his features obscured by the shadows. Need a ride? I called out, my voice sounding thin and reedy in the stillness. The stranger nodded silently, his movements fluid and graceful, almost unnatural. He slid into the passenger seat without a word, his presence casting a pall over the interior of the car. I stole a glance at him.
As the miles passed, a sense of unease settled over me like a suffocating blanket. There was something off about the hitchhiker, something inherently wrong that I couldn't quite put my finger on. His presence seemed to taint the air, filling the car with a tangible sense of dread. We drove on in silence, the only sound the soft hum of the engine and the rhythmic thud of my heart against my ribcage. I stole glances at the hitchhiker from the corner of my eye, but he remained eerily still, his gaze fixed straight ahead as if lost in thought. Suddenly, he spoke, his voice a low whisper that sent shivers down my spine. "Do you believe in ghosts?" he asked, his words hanging in the air like a sinister omen. My blood ran cold as his words sank in, a chill creeping up my spine. I glanced out the window, the darkness pressing in on all sides like a suffocating embrace. "That's ridiculous," I stammered, my voice trembling with fear. With a sudden surge of panic, I slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching against the asphalt as the car skidded to a halt. I turned to face the hitchhiker, but he was gone, vanished into thin air like a wisp of smoke on the wind. Heart pounding, I stumbled out of the car and into the darkness, the cold night air biting at my skin like 1,000 icy needles. I glanced back at the road, stretching out before me like a serpent poised to strike. And then I ran as if my life depended on it, the echoes of the hitchhiker's words ringing in my ears like a death knell. For in that moment, I knew that I was not alone on this cursed highway, that something malevolent lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim.